All right, today we're diving into something that feels, well, totally backwards for the world we live in. We're talking about an idea from writer Pico Iyer, the art of stillness. And this quote right here, this is basically the whole idea in a nutshell. It's pretty wild, isn't it? In a world that's screaming at us to go faster, he's telling us the most important thing we can do is just stop. So let's really get into what that means.
And here's why this idea is so important right now. Think about this. We take in more information in a single day than Shakespeare did in his entire life. No joke. There's even a field called interruption science, and they found it takes us about 25 minutes to get our focus back after just one little interruption. But get this, we're interrupted on average every 11 minutes. You do the math. We are literally never caught up.
So yeah, this brings us to what Iyer calls the age of distraction. And you know this feeling, right? It's that sense of running as fast as you can, but somehow your own life is always just a little bit out of reach. So what do? I mean, our first instinct is always to speed up, find a better app, a new productivity hack. But what if that's completely wrong? What if the actual solution isn't about going faster at all, but about slowing way, way down? To really explore that, we need a guide. And who better than Pico Iyer himself? He calls this whole journey the adventure of nowhere. And what's so fascinating is that this comes from a guy who literally built his career on going everywhere.
I mean, just look at this contrast. It's insane. On one side, you've got the life a lot of people would kill for, right? High-powered job at Time magazine, office in Manhattan, traveling all over the globe. And on the other side, a single room. Silence. So you gotta ask, why on earth would he do that?
Well, he basically had this huge realization. He understood that this frantic race to find happiness was the one thing that was making sure he'd never actually be happy. It's like he was moving so fast, he never had a second to even check in with himself and ask, hey, am I even enjoying this?
And you know what he found when he finally stopped? He describes it as this thrumming crystal silence. It wasn't boring or empty at all. It was the complete opposite. He said that the moment he was finally in one place, with no distractions, the world just came alive. It lit up.
And that's the real key here. Going nowhere, being still, it's not about running away from the world. It's about taking a step back so you can actually see the world more clearly, so you can connect with it and even love it on a much deeper level. Okay, so this all sounds pretty nice, but it's not that simple. It's not some relaxing spa retreat. There's a real challenge that comes with all this silence. Iyer tells this story about being totally trapped by storms and fog. He couldn't go anywhere. And he realized that when you have nowhere to go on the outside, you have nowhere to run on the inside either. You're just stuck with yourself. And that silence, it forces you to face whatever is going on in your own head. Yeah, a guy named Thomas Merton, a famous monk that Iyer talks about a lot, put it perfectly. He basically said, don't think you can use contemplation to escape your problems. It's not a detour, it's the main road right through the middle of all your stuff. And Merton wasn't just talking theory. This guy, after 25 years in a monastery, fell head over heels in love with his young nurse. It was messy and complicated. It just goes to show, you can't outrun your own humanity. Stillness doesn't make your problems disappear. It just makes you finally look at them. Okay, so if it's so hard, why bother? What's the payoff for all this confrontation? Well, that brings us to the real rewards, the wisdom you can only find in stillness. Let's talk about Leonard Cohen for a second. I mean, this is a guy who experienced, well, pretty much everything the world has to offer. And yet, after spending years in a Zen monastery, what did he call sitting still? He called it the real deep entertainment, the real feast, a luxurious and sumptuous experience. Coming from him, that's huge. And it's not just poets and singers. Believe it or not, science has actually found and measured the happiest man in the world. Meet Mathieu Ricard. This guy isn't who you might expect. He has a PhD in molecular biology, was working with a Nobel Prize winner, and he gave it all up to become a Tibetan Buddhist monk. And what's the secret to his scientifically proven happiness? You guessed it, thousands of hours of just sitting still. And we're not just talking about him saying he's happy. This is hard data. Scientists hooked him up to 256 sensors, and the part of his brain linked to happiness went completely off the charts. We're talking about a level of happiness that neuroscientists had literally never seen before. It makes this whole idea very, very real.
Okay, fine. It works for monks and legendary songwriters. But what about for you and me in our crazy busy lives? Well, it turns out the art of stillness is popping up in some of the last places you'd ever expect. Take Google. Their Search Inside Yourself course is one of the most popular things they offer. At Intel, they gave engineers a quiet period, basically paid time to just sit and think, and innovation shot up. And maybe the most shocking one, U.S. Marines. They're taught tactical breathing to stay calm and clear-headed in the middle of a firefight. It's literally a life-or-death stillness practice.
But beyond all that, there's one massive reason this is catching on, and it comes down to a number: $300 billion. What is that? That's how much workplace stress costs American companies every single year. Stressed out, distracted people make bad decisions. So this stillness thing, it's a bottom line issue. When the insurance giant Aetna started offering these programs, stress went down by a third and productivity went up. This isn't some fluffy nice-to-have skill anymore. It's a real strategic advantage.
And that brings us right back to where we started, to Iyer's big idea. In our crazy, fast-moving world, the real luxury isn't going faster. It's not having more information. The real luxury is going slow. The real luxury is the ability to just pay attention. Because at the end of the day, this isn't about escaping your life. It's about finding a way to bring some of that focus, that clarity, that calm back into your life. Your nowhere doesn't have to be a monastery. It could be a walk without your phone. It could just be 20 minutes in a quiet room. The whole point of going nowhere for a little while is so you can be more present and alive everywhere else. So, the question for you is, where is your nowhere?